Anthony Joshua made me insert a clause into the contract that said the fight must happen in the UK. So at the moment, it can't happen anywhere else. Now, we're under a lot of pressure. Turkey al-Sheikh, Netflix, sounds like Tyson Fury. It sounds like everybody's agreed they want to do this fight at Madison Square Garden. We don't, right? I mean, I can't, we want to make it so financially unviable for them to change the contract that they've got no choice but to do it in the UK. I honestly don't know how it's going to play out. All I can tell you is I can assure you that myself and Anthony are saying it just doesn't make sense. Like we wouldn't have signed this contract under its terms if this said the fight was in America.
Eddie Hearn drops the bombshell. Anthony Joshua won't sign unless the fight remains on British soil. No exceptions. Any venue change destroys the agreement both sides shook hands on. For AJ, there is no
and we are doing everything we can to maintain our contractual position. So, I met with Sela, Dr. Rakan, and listen, we've got a good relationship. No one's trying to pull any strings. They're just saying Netflix would prefer to fight in America. They want the fight in America. And I said, but we wouldn't have signed the fight if it was in America. The whole point of this fight was to give this fight to the British fight fans. And AJ wants this fight to be in the UK. So why should we change? Well, they feel like it's a bigger fight. It could do a bigger audience. America's the showbiz capital of the world. I said, but it's not the boxing capital of the world. And this is a British fight. And we're going to get it in the neck for doing the fight in America. And it's disappointing. I'll be honest with you, it's disappointing. Listen, and I know it's going to be a massive fight in New York.
But reinforcing that same demand, Eddie explains they had no role in negotiations and refuses to give boxing's biggest event to a rival promotion. For Matchroom, safeguarding the event becomes non-negotiable.
Yeah, listen, we had a nice chat. I was pretty honest. I said, I'll tell you what, it's a bit like Turkey al-Sheikh doing the Royal Rumble with the WWE in Saudi Arabia and him phoning you up and going, by the way, Eddie Hearn's going to promote it. It's a bit like Turkey al-Sheikh making a massive Conor McGregor fight in Saudi Arabia and phoning Dana White and going, all right, Dana, just to let you know, Eddie's going to promote this one. What do you think you'd say, guys?
What do they offer?
What do you mean?
As in the reason why they want...
because together we can make it really big, and it is big.
I mean, yeah, but
the reality is, it's all a game. They're trying to do something with Zuffa. They're trying to gain some credibility. They're trying to be part of big fights. And this is a leg up for them to try and be involved in a fight they had nothing to do with.
Supporting that same stance from a fan's perspective, Paulie Nalignaggi believes British supporters deserve to see the fight at home rather than abroad. He argues taking the event away from the UK ignores the fans who built both champions.
I believe it when I see it. I think the fight happens. I don't know if the fight happens in New York or somewhere else. I know the rumor is in New York, but I have a very difficult time believing this fight happens in New York because of those reasons. It just makes no business sense.
And I think from the British fans' point of view, they've supported these guys, built them up. They've both become world champions and icons outside of boxing. Really, they've become bigger personalities than even boxing to the boxing fan. So they want that last fight here. They want it at Wembley Stadium. Forget that it's in November. I think the fans maybe are owed that one, and it'll be a shame that it happens.
Yeah, it's a fight of a generation that the fights in England have been waiting to see for so long, and then you don't put it in the UK, you put it in the MSG. I don't know, it makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Again, for many reasons it makes no sense.
Rejecting the entire venue debate, Peter Fury insists the location meant nothing because the only thing that mattered was settling the rivalry inside the ring. He believes the fight simply needed to happen regardless of location.
Look, it's may the best man win, and wherever it is, it's a ring. Doesn't really matter, so you just need to get it on. And this is boxing, for me it's a sport. May the best man.
Looking at the bigger picture, Frank Warren says the delay hasn't damaged the fight's significance and may even improve it. He believes the extra preparation helps fighters returning from long layoffs, making boxing's biggest unfinished matchup even more compelling.
Can't do nothing about it being later because that's the age they're at. But the fact is it will be competitive, and the fact is they both want it. And At last it is happening. So we will see. And sometimes with these type of fights, you know, when guys, you think maybe they could have done it a few years before. The fact is that it could even turn into a better fight. Who knows? But the fact of the matter is, the reason, you know, if it does go there, it won't be for the lack of Seller trying to get the fight on at Wembley. They were trying to get it on, obviously, for the early hours of the morning, and from what I understand, that wasn't successful. I'm not sure yet, that's not been good.
Turning attention toward who actually wins this fight, Paulie Malignaggi credits Fury with still having the edge because his movement, unpredictability, and ringcraft remain difficult to solve. He argues Joshua would struggle to consistently pin down such an elusive opponent.
The shiftiness of Fury may be a problem. You know, even Jake Paul was shifty, but he can't fight, and was giving Joshua trouble in terms of being tracked down. Fury's shifty and knows how to fight, so I think it multiplies the problem.
Questioning how Joshua's last win actually happened, Frank Warren acknowledges AJ's resilience, but believes Tyson Fury would never have allowed that recovery. In his view, Fury's finishing instincts would have created a completely different outcome.
I was on the floor twice, and I genuinely was quite shocked. But you know, hats off to AJ for getting out of the predicament that he was in. And Pringo, I mean, you know, he just didn't follow. You know, for me, didn't follow up. When I look at that fight, I look at one that and think, if that had been Tyson in there, and you know Tyson's a good fit.
Questioning how Joshua's last win actually happened, Frank Warren acknowledges AJ's resilience, but believes Tyson Fury would never have allowed that recovery. In his view, Fury's finishing instincts would have created a completely different outcome.
Not at all. Don't agree with that at all. You know, I don't think that would happen. Listen, what a way. I mean, let's have it right. If someone thought the fight was hooky and they were going to throw it, you don't want to get knocked over twice.
And have to climb up off the deck, yeah.
And climb off the floor, and let's have it right. At one stage, he was struggling a bit. So no, and let's all be honest. Going into the fight, everybody thought AJ was like 100 to 1 on. So he got caught, and he got over it, and that's it. So no, I don't think there's anything untoward.
Crediting the team behind Joshua's transformation, Eddie believes Alexander Usyk's team had transformed Joshua through relentless scientific preparation unlike anything he'd ever witnessed. The workload convinces him Joshua had left nothing to chance. And Hearn adds that the level of detail in this camp stands apart from anything he's seen in Joshua's previous training cycle.
It's been a long camp. Like, he's been literally working since, I don't know, February. And the camp has probably been 14, 16 weeks, which is a really long camp, but it had to be because he's gone from like training every day to like not training properly for 2 months or 3 months, and then, you know, then he had to do this other stuff. Plus, you throw in the crazy Ukrainians of Team Alexander Usyk, who I've never seen anything like. Like, it's not human what they're putting him through, but the results are, like you said, career best shape, and hopefully career best performance as well, and performance.
Supporting that same underdog case with real coaching credibility, Malik Scott, who had trained elite heavyweight fighters and understood championship-level adjustments, believes Joshua's timing, durability, and recent performances made him fully capable of winning, as Fury enters the matchup as the betting favorite, adding that betting lines rarely account for the specific adjustments a smart corner can make mid-fight.
Across everything. So he's got his boxing, which is always the most important thing. He's got his management company, he's got his property portfolio, he's got his commercial deals, and he's a perfectionist. So he wants everything to be, and when something breaks down in one of those, he sort of does his nutting and he's like, oh, that. It's like, and then that saps the energy out of you on other areas. And I think after the Dubois fight, it was like, do you know what? It's just boxing. Yeah. I need to just be boxing. And that's what it's been. You know, and I've never seen him put so much focus just on boxing. And that's why I just hope that he gets what the hard work deserves on Saturday. And in a Fury fight, but just to go out there, look good, look dominant for everyone to go, wow, like, you know, because listen, sport, anything can happen, but he deserves his success because of how hard he works.
Giving a split verdict that favors neither man completely, Francis Ngannou credits Fury with holding the advantage over the distance, while Joshua's best opportunity comes from an early knockout. Once the fight settles into the later rounds, he expects the momentum to swing decisively toward Fury.
Talk about what at least most of us might not expect at first. The question is, if the headlines are the morning after the fight that Anthony Joshua actually won, how did it happen? Well, look, I don't think Tyson Fury will be underprepared as he was against Francis Ngannou. But what the Ngannou fight did show is that at least an underprepared Tyson Fury can be bothered by a big, strong, determined heavyweight. Now, that same Francis Ngannou fought Anthony Joshua and was almost decapitated in that fight.
Making the strongest case yet for Joshua, Barry Quiggan insists Anthony Joshua had always possessed the perfect style to beat Tyson Fury. He believes Joshua's physical tools and psychological advantage would ultimately overcome Fury's movement, adding that this exact stylistic matchup has favored Joshua on paper for years, regardless of how either man's recent form has looked.
I'm picking AJ because I believe AJ has good timing to offset Fury's speed. I believe AJ chin is a lot better than people give him credit for. And like you just said, Mats, if we go off of both, how they both looked against Usyk, I believe the AJ that fought Usyk and the Tyson Fury that fought Usyk, I believe that makes for an incredible fight with both of them. Both of them had great fight with Usyk, especially AJ last fight with Usyk. It's not like he got ran over. That was a very competitive fight. Fury and Usyk was a very competitive fight. I believe AJ against Tyson Fury is an even more competitive fight at the stage that they're in their careers now.
Dropped him but I do think he's got a psychological edge over him, and I think the combination of styles he beats him every time. Drawing on years of watching both men closely, former Olympian Fraser Clark admits that recent performances had pushed Tyson Fury slightly ahead despite previously favoring Joshua. He warns that one more Joshua performance could completely change that opinion, pointing out how quickly public perception shifts.
Again, at this level, I think it's very close. Everybody can win. And then it depends on how the fight goes. I think if it's going to be like go to decision, I give the decision. I will pick Fury if this fight go to decision. And then if it's like a knockout, I think Joshua has a chance early in the round, but as far as the fight goes, it's going to be way off on the Fury favor.
Bringing decades of technical knowledge to the debate, former European champion Spencer Oliver credits Joshua's explosiveness with giving him a legitimate path to victory, but admits nobody truly knew how much the recent setbacks had changed him. That uncertainty becomes the biggest variable entering the fight.
I think he'll beat Tyson Fury, but and so therefore that's a good fight. I believe he would always have beaten Tyson Fury, and I just think he's got the right style to beat Fury, and I think he has the old wand over him. I think many years ago in the high performance he apparently dropped him, and so I do think he's got a psychological edge over him, and I think the combination of styles, he beats him every.
Turning attention toward the psychological side of the fight, Richard believes Fury consistently elevated his performances under pressure, making the outcome impossible to predict. He points out that Fury has repeatedly found another gear in his biggest fights, often looking sharper the tougher the moment gets. Championship experience could outweigh recent form.
I always have thought that, and I'm definitely don't want to sit on the fence, but not seeing him box for so long and seeing at the minute after seeing Fury box Makhmudov, I thought that was a decent performance for saying he'd been out of the ring for so long. So at the minute, I've probably got to say, judging off what I seen last with Tyson, you'd have to make him favourite after Saturday.
Building on that same pressure-filled atmosphere, Paul Smith believes both men understood that one defeat would overshadow every previous achievement. That pressure guarantees maximum preparation. And Smith adds that fighters carrying this much legacy on the line rarely leave anything to chance heading into camp.
Way I feel about
I think they both have their pluses and their minuses on how the fight could be won, how the fight could be lost, who has the right game plan. That's pretty much where we're at with these guys, because Fury's a tricky guy. Even once he gets into a rhythm, he's very tricky to beat. Anthony Joshua's been known a little bit one-dimensional at times. Maybe he would struggle to get. I'm with you, Barry. I think that, styles make fights, and Anthony has that explosiveness to win the fight, but also, this is all just an opinion because we don't know where Anthony Joshua's at right now. We won't know until after the 25th.
But that's the big secret, isn't it?
I think that a fight of this magnitude, I think, is bigger than sort of boxing, goes outside of boxing, because people, non-boxing fans, know these guys, and that's why we're talking.
Delivering one of the strongest predictions in Fury's favor, Carl Fruck believed Tyson Fury's instincts, ring IQ, and lifelong boxing experience would overwhelm Anthony Joshua. He argued Fury's ability to read opponents, make adjustments, and control the pace would eventually take over, making his technical superiority impossible to overcome once the fight settled.
50-50. I'm sitting on the fence. I actually don't know. We've seen this Joshua get put down and get up and win in beautiful knockout style. World-class knockout power he showed. And then you have a very tricky guy in Fury. We can't even judge him on that whack fight because he knew exactly what that was going to be. I'm going to just dance around. I'm probably going to look trash on purpose. We don't know. He's got the ability to do that. But when it's a big fight, when there's a lot on the line, I think this guy turns up. This guy stays in the gym and he really turns up. You see?
Pushing that same warning even further, Frost insists the dangerous truth could no longer be ignored. One clean punch would always change the fight because Joshua could no longer absorb damage, adding that durability, once lost at the elite level, rarely returns the way fans hope it will.
It's exactly what you just said there. After Ngannou, I thought Fury was done. He looked awful, and then he bounced back against Usyk and actually looked good.
Looked good.
And he looked like nothing like the fella that was in with Ngannou. So, again, like you just said, I agree with Total. I think he raises his level to the opponent. He'll raise his level to the occasion, more importantly. And this occasion is the biggest one ever. And that fear factor of whoever loses this fight is going to be defined on that fight, no matter what they've done in the past.
No matter what.
They're going to, well, yeah, but he didn't beat him. So that fear factor will be driving both.
And against a fighter with Fury swinging hard back in Joshua's favor, Adam Catterall believed Anthony Joshua would ultimately defeat Tyson Fury so convincingly that it would bring Fury's career to an end. He argued Joshua's power, discipline, and ability to capitalize on openings would prove too much, leaving Fury with no clear path back to the top after such a defining loss.
Mega fight, still a big fight because it's even arguably more now, an even more interesting fight because Fury looked bad, but don't forget Fury's been fighting since he was 5 years old. It's like subconscious reactions and reflexes and punching. He just knows how to do it when his eyes are shut. He's grown up with it. Anthony Joshua's a manufactured fighter. Okay, he's won Olympic gold medalist and is two-time heavyweight champ. But in terms of natural ability, natural fighting, Tyson Fury.
Looking at what this fight actually meant for both legacies, Spencer Oliver argued this single contest would ultimately define how history remembered both careers. With two elite fighters chasing greatness in boxing's biggest prize on the line, he believed every previous title and achievement became secondary to the outcome of this rivalry. Oliver added that no amount of past success would matter if the wrong man walked away from this fight because this...
Again, I go back to him, he's saying he's the most ferocious fighter when he lets his hands go, when he puts his shots together. And yeah, AJ can punch hard, and he is fast, and he is dangerous, but he ain't got it anymore. It's not in the tank anymore. When you can't take a punch, you've only got to get clipped on your way in, as we saw against Prenga, and it's fight over. So I just want a bit of honesty. Let's just say this fight with Tyson Fury is a great fight because it's an even more evenly matched fight. Fury looked terrible. Still got to talk about him in a sec. AJ's finished. He's got no punch resistance. I'm saying he's finished because he has got no punch resistance.
Was the result fans would remember most. It's just what's happened tonight. Ending the breakdown with a technical case built on activity, Adam credits Fury's freshness, activity, and superior boxing skills with likely earning him victory on points. Joshua's power always made him dangerous. But Azim believes Fury possessed more ways to win, pointing out that a fighter...
I think Joshua will be. I think he puts Fury to bed forever.
Do you?
I do, yeah.
Even off what you've watched at the weekend?
No, I watched the Fury stuff. I hadn't seen it. I watched, obviously, the Anthony Joshua one live. I hadn't seen the Fury. I watched it. I think he puts him to bed.
With multiple paths to victory carries a real advantage over one who depends almost entirely on a single knockout punch. Ending the breakdown with a technical case built on activity, Adam credits Fury's freshness, activity, and superior boxing skills with likely earning him victory on points. Joshua's power always made him dangerous. But Azim believes Fury possessed more ways to win, pointing out that a fighter with multiple paths to victory carries a real advantage over one who depends almost.
What's happened to that?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why this is an interesting fight. Honestly, I think I see it as a real 50-50 going in, but off the back of their performances that were both well below par, and they both seem to be well past their best on those performances. I don't think we get that again, and I think that both guys would, you know, with what's on the line and their egos, and this is a fight that you're remembered for, by the way, guys. Forget that they're both two-time world champions, and you look at their careers and their resumes, and you go, you know what? This is the fight that they will be remembered for. Their career, it is a career-defining fight. And with that on the line, I think that it's a shootout. It really is. It's an
Ending the breakdown with a technical case built on activity, Adam credits Fury's freshness, activity, and superior boxing skills with likely earning him victory on points. Joshua's power always made him dangerous. But Azim believes Fury possessed more ways to win, pointing out that a fighter with multiple paths to victory carries a real advantage over one who depends almost entirely on a single knockout punch.
It's a bit of a tricky subject for me, because if you were to ask me that question 2 or 3 years ago, AJ just fought Ngannou, he's coming off wins from Helenius and Wallin, I probably would have swayed a bit towards AJ, but now I think Fury's just a bit fresher. Now, don't get me wrong, they are both at the end. He's just a bit fresher, he's a bit more active. So I would lean towards Fury, but like then again, Fury's a big fella, so he can land a big shot whenever, and in the fight he's shown that he can do that in the Wilder.
One clause nearly destroyed the deal, and now the biggest heavyweight fight in years is finally official. Does Joshua's power and home soil demand finally deliver the statement he's chasing? Or does Fury's experience and unpredictability settle boxing's biggest rivalry once and for all? Drop your prediction in the comments and stay tuned. Thanks for watching Knockout Daily Boxing Glove. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more non-stop boxing updates, fight breakdowns, training clips, and knockout moments. Drop your thoughts in the comments and tell us who you want to see next, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a punch.